Tzu Chi Australia chapter continues to care for people in need during the epidemic. Tzu Chi volunteers in Kunshan, China helps a homeless man to reunite with his family. Welcome to the Headlines. I'm Simon Gan. Thank you for joining us. During the epidemic, Tzu Chi Australia chapter continues to care for people in need. In Brisbane, volunteers have prepared care packages for people who are being quarantined. Meanwhile, in Sydney, volunteers went to Buddhist cultivation grounds to deliver 91 sets of epidemic prevention supplies.
Using the sewing machine to make fabric masks, Jiang Yuqing, who has breast cancer, is staying at home. She still seizes the opportunity to do something to prevent the spread of the epidemic.
I coexist with my breast cancer and find time to rest. One volunteer told me not to work too hard. He cares about me.
During the epidemic, Tzu Chi Australia chapter is giving out care packages. In New South Wales, volunteers went to 25 Buddhist cultivation grounds to deliver 91 care packages.
Floods, fire disasters, epidemic, and spread of viruses can take place because of our past negative karma. In Taiwan, Dharma Master Zheng Yan has been promoting vegetarianism. This is a very good thing. One person's strength is limited, but the strength of the public is amazing.
Besides the Dharma masters in Buddhist cultivation grounds, volunteers also remember Sister Angel in Brisbane.
Randy and Diana called me from Sydney to ascertain if I had face masks. Of course, I didn't have any. But within 3 days, I received my own generous packet.
Australia City volunteers also care for people in Brisbane. They pack care packages to be delivered to the city government for people who are being quarantined.
I hope to give the sketchbooks and these other books to children. Then they can interact with these items. Will have a better experience during their quarantine.
During the process of packing, volunteers disinfect everything carefully.
We need to wash our hands and disinfect the tables. We hope that when we deliver the care packages to people, the surfaces of the items can be cleaned.
The care packages come with the volunteers' best wishes. They hope that the people who are being quarantined can have positive energy during this critical time.
Tzu Chi Foundation has had the support of overseas volunteers to dispatch their local medical supplies to assist other countries more in need. In total, these supplies have reached 47 countries. Next, let's take a look at how Tzu Chi volunteers in China's different regions have come together to help, as we're all in this together.
It is 10:40 p.m. and the extended semi-trailer from Jilin arrives at the cargo loading terminal of the Guangzhou airport. A group of volunteers in blue and white are already waiting for this shipment.
开了3天车过来的。
对，3天。
3天过来，这路上辛苦不辛苦啊？
还可以，习惯了。
啊。
This international airport's cargo terminal is very busy during the day. That Tzu Chi shipment must be received and unloaded at night. When the volunteers are tired, they take a break by leaning on the boxes, but they don't rest for very long. In the past month or so, they have been here more than 10 times just to send love to countries in need.
These are going to the Philippines, Honduras, Mozambique, Nepal, and Sierra Leone. It is with great hope that these supplies get to the front lines of these countries as soon as possible.
On this day, a private plane from Cebu Pacific of the Philippines arrived in Guangzhou to pick up some preventative medical supplies. Besides filling up the cargo area with the shipment, some had to be put in the passenger seat.
The cargo is full, so 2 pallets had to be put in the passenger seating to finish loading everything.
Meanwhile, in Hunan's Changsha, the volunteers are also helping the logistics of medical supplies to send to other countries.
这是什么东西？是送往哪里的？走空运还是海运啊？
这个应该是空运。
疫情真的没有国界，所以我们 每个人也不能够幸免哈，所以感恩在这些物资哈，整个的一个采购。运送的过程中有很多家人的一个努力的付出哈，希望疫情可以早日解除，人人都能够平安。
Due to the pandemic, Mozambique has extended the state of emergency until May 10. Tzu Chi has been asked by the government to teach residents the right way to prevent the dangers of the coronavirus and also gifted the residents masks and soap. Today, let's take a look at Mexiquens, the first community Tzu Chi entered in 2012.
今天我们又再次走到了马夏奇尼社区。马夏奇尼呢是莫桑比克慈济呢，2012年走入的第一个社区。那我们的第一颗种子也是在这里开始
的。This community church is open to all religious gatherings.
Tzu Chi got started right here. This is our first gathering point. As you can see, there are benches here. We stayed here for 2 years.
我们在这里一起度过了2年的时间。
It's been 8 years, and many of those recipients they first helped have become certified Tzu Chi volunteers. While walking in the streets, volunteers practice social distancing. Despite wearing a mask, they still sing songs like normal.
A while ago, the entire street was empty. We were so proud. But then people loosened their caution and began to come out. The government wants us to take this opportunity to visit the community once more, to ask everyone to stay cautious.
Mozambique has extended the state of emergency, but people are getting complacent, and there are even vendors out selling illegally. Knowing government officials and volunteers are coming to visit, the village chief even invited locals to welcome everyone, which goes against the rule of not having gatherings larger than 20 people. Tzu Chi immediately righted this gathering to let everyone know the correct way to stay safe.
When the day comes when we have won this fight against the novel coronavirus, we can come back here to celebrate. But for right now, let's pray and put prevention measures first.
Teaching epidemic prevention as they go from one person to another, as not knowing the dangers of the virus is how the pandemic spreads. Volunteers see that most of the residents wash their hands by using the method the government is advocating and not wearing masks.
We have visited many communities and see that many are not wearing masks. Even though reusable fabric masks are very available, a lot of the people cannot afford them.
Volunteers quickly give them masks and soap, as well as teach them how to use them.
I'm not afraid nor worried. As long as I take care of myself and wear protective measures, then I can take care of others.
Compassion and wisdom is how Tzu Chi volunteers are planting seeds of love in this country.
In Jakarta, Indonesia, there's a volunteer, Sri Ling Shou, who has been making fabric masks to give others as gifts. As a result, many mask receivers have made donations to Tzu Chi Indonesia chapter for epidemic relief.
Tzu Chi volunteers can form good affinities with people without going out.
I thought about making fabric masks because I like sewing and surgical masks are lacking. Even if they are available, they are very expensive. When you go out, please remember to wear masks so you can stop the spread of the virus.
58-year-old Shilin Song gave fabric masks to friends at the recycling station and community offices. Her daughter gave out even more masks with the help of social media. People who received the masks have made donations to Tzu Chi Indonesia chapter for epidemic relief.
My goal is to invite more people to use fabric masks. So we can save the surgical masks for medical personnel. This way, they can also protect themselves.
17-year-old Vida Bodianto and his parents donated fabric and gave out fabric masks to their friends.
I am happy to support my friends to do good deeds. I'm also happy to help people around me. I think they are amazing because they inspire people to do good deeds.
The fabric masks come with their best wishes as everyone prays that the epidemic can end soon.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Kunshan, China have cared for this homeless person, Zhou Gongyuan, who is 44 years old, for 2 years. Since 2001, he wandered from Sichuan to Jiangsu. Recently, with the help of Tzu Chi volunteers, he connected with his brother and sister and set off his journey back home.
你要不要跟哥哥打个招呼啊？他就想你们了，想那个见一下面。
我回来个时候怕耽误家里面啊，那个时候妈过世了，你不跟我说？
你看儿子好像他，还胖了也，还得高了。
The call from his younger brother and foster son made 44-year-old Zhou Gongyuan seek Tzu Chi for assistance, hoping to end his 19-year wandering. Breaking his leg at 19 years old while at work, Zhou Gongyuan gradually lost his self-confidence and even stopped selling flowers. He lived under the bridge for many years.
Because of the epidemic, the bridge was closed. Zhou Gongyuan slept out on the street. He couldn't lie down without a bed and his feet are swollen. Volunteers went there to take care of him and wash and soak his feet, making him feel very warm.
After a short stay at the Kunshan rescue shelter for a month, on the 26th of April, the staff arranged for Zhou Gongyuan to take the high-speed rail and set off on his journey back home.
From my heart, I can feel the care and assistance provided by Tzu Chi brothers and sisters over the past few years, so that I didn't have any hard work. I'll certainly live a good life after I go home.
He enters the gate without hesitation. His relatives are already expecting his return to his hometown.
Since the outbreak of the COVID-19 epidemic, many frontline medical staffs have not taken vacation and have no time to take care of their families. Tzu Chi volunteers in Shenzhen, China, recruited 40 teachers from 20 schools to care for 29 children from 27 families working in the medical profession.
Receiving inspiration through the internet, teachers are volunteering to build a parent-child connection for medical staff.
I designed it by finding some touching video to interact with the children of frontline medical staff, letting them know that their parents are not reluctant to accompany them. I wanted to explain why they do not have time to be with them.
For good communication, it is necessary to keep up frequent interactions. Tzu Chi education volunteers in Shenzhen accompany these children and see some improvement.
Parents should write a letter to their children every day. It not only allows for reflection, but also purifies their heart. At the same time, we also bring some information to the child's mother. And when the mother studies Master Zheng Yan's Jingsi aphorisms, they can learn a lot.
With our encouragement, our child starts to discover herself and is willing to calm down and listen to us as we try to communicate with her. For this, we thank you very much.
What can you see?
I see a rabbit.
40 educational volunteers have been working with students one-on-one from grades 1 to 9 in English, mathematics, and moral education.
We're willing to accompany these children with respect to academics or in terms of other knowledge. We want to give them some help. We have also received support from these parents who are very happy when they heard words to the volunteers. They say they knew about us because we sent masks, protective clothing, and goggles to their hospital.
Everyone's efforts not only keep the family safe, but also warm as the epidemic slowly fades away.
In Malaysia, a dialysis patient, Lam Duan in Kedah, took up the task of cooking vegetarian meal boxes, mobilizing other dialysis patients and their families to respond together. Let's take a look.
No matter whether I need to undergo dialysis or not, I also wake up at 5 o'clock, so it is not difficult for me to cook vegetarian meal boxes. I don't know how to do other things. I don't even know Chinese. The only thing I know is cooking. I am very happy when I cook food for others.
The dialysis patient Lam Doom's home is brightly lit early in the morning. During the movement restriction order, she received a subsidy and takes up the mission to cook vegetarian meal boxes. This subsidy also alleviates the financial difficulties of her family.
Actually, our jobs, including my father's, my brother's, mine, and my sister's, are affected. We were quite worried about our life as my mother took up the task. I put in my part to help. I think it's good because we can let many people to eat vegetarian food.
我拿了3盒饭，
我拿了5盒饭，5个人吃素。
一盒是我自己吃，一个是给我的太太，我的拉拉手吃。
I'm very happy to be able to take vegetarian food home. At the beginning, I don't feel comfortable to take so much back home. I just took 2 boxes for my grandsons because they joined Tzu Chi's after class, so they're used to eating vegetarian food.
I eat happily because I think it's delicious. It doesn't contain any meat, so we can save the earth and animals.
All dishes are delicious to eat. I like them all.
Starting from the first vegetarian meal box to now, many dialysis patients cook rice at home. They bring a container here to get vegetarian dishes and bring the food back to share with their families. Through dialysis patients, their families are inspired to adopt a vegetarian diet.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Wanhua District, Taipei, prepare vegetarian box meals for the employees of a Taiwanese cosmetic company, Alta Moda, hoping that they will also begin to adopt vegetarianism.
The food includes turmeric and tofu skin in seaweed rolls, bell peppers, king oyster mushrooms, and broccoli. The volunteers place them attentively as a colorful box meals and will deliver them to a cosmetic company.
This epidemic is a warning from nature. Our company always follows Master's teachings, and our employees also adapt vegetarian diets in response to Master's calling.
Tzu Chi and Alta Moda formed the affinity in 2004, and for over a decade, the company has been supporting Master's charity mission. This time, they use action to show their support.
The company responds to Tzu Chi calls for the vegetarian diet. Here is a gesture from our employees to support Tzu Chi's call for the vegetarian diet.
Do not kill is the first step to nurture compassion. Did you know when you eat 50% less meat, it will reduce the occurrence of heart and cardiovascular disease by 90%? We ask everyone to follow Tzu Chi and Alta Moda in adopting a vegetarian diet and saving the earth.
I'm happy to have this chance to follow the master in adopting a vegetarian diet and bring this concept to my family. I hope my family can also eat vegetarian food and this pandemic will be over soon.
Their wishes are also the wishes of the public. We hope the volunteers are able to inspire more people to take on vegetarian food and reduce the pandemic.
The Taiwan Lantern Festival has been held for many years. In the past decade, most of these lanterns cannot be preserved as they need to be dismantled. Some even have intellectual property rights protection and cannot be retained. Furthermore, maintenance can be difficult and expensive as many of these lanterns are simply discarded.
对，它是妈祖的左右护法，这2个左右护法在的话，它就可以神通广大。
Within 2 days after the end of the Lantern Festival, contestants must remove and disassemble lanterns by themselves. The school rushed to move the lanterns back within the time limit. If placing them in a corner of the school, the number of viewers is limited and power consumption leads many to seek another option.
This beautiful lantern has to be moved to another location. It can't be put in our school anymore.
Say goodbye to the work, many must simply remember it in their heart.
We try to find a way to deal with it ourselves.
After a 5-minute truck drive, this lantern travels from the school to a local temple. When the principal asked the temple to accept the lantern, he immediately offered his service. The temple only needs to provide space and electricity costs, which are also the main reasons the school's inability to keep the lanterns in the long term.
During the Lantern Festival, several other school principals also discussed where their lanterns would go.
Seeing that the lantern has finally found a good location, this principal finally feels relieved in his heart.
I have to do this. I don't really feel so helpless. We just want to find a best home for this lantern.
There are 598 lantern entries in competition this year. After the competition, not every group takes back their work.
If they want the lantern, they can take it themselves. We deal with some of the lanterns that are not taken away, either dismantling or recycling.
Professional lanterns are always eye-catching, and every movie depicted seems to come out of a movie. The reason for its popularity, which is also the most troublesome problem, is the contract signed by the creator, which stipulates that at the end of the exhibition, the artwork cannot remain intact.
These lanterns may only be authorized to use during the exhibition period. You can use it during this period, but not afterwards.
As for the lanterns that are not restricted by contracts, the head of this park in Taichung City eagerly seeks to claim them.
After the Lantern Festival for the past 4 or 5 years, no matter if it is a big or small event, I will apply to take some of these lanterns.
This cattle horn from past years has been moved to decorate this neighborhood sidewalk. This year for the Taiwan Lantern Festival, he gathered the courage to apply once again.
I was very enthusiastic originally. I went to the site and saw the lantern was tall and big, and there must be no place here to keep it, so I decided to give up on the spot.
It is perhaps worth learning from those who have worked with these popular lanterns soon after the event is over.
That is, the wires in the lantern must be used repeatedly every year.
This chiropractic organization has won the Group Lantern Award for 11 consecutive years, and the Taichung Prison has also won 4 times within 5 years.
The scope of our work is always in a fixed place.
In this place where everything must be regulated and monitored, where iron wire and bars can be used as a weapon to injure people, it is quite amazing that inmates can accomplish this impossible task and win prizes every year.
After the event is over, we will totally dismantle it and classify the materials and see if we can reuse or bring it for recycling.
The Lantern Festival comes to an end every year, and groups like Taichung Prison are dismantling the lanterns for recycling and reuse. Some lanterns, because of copyright protections, are destined to be dismantled and cannot be kept. And for some schools, although they have won their lantern category, they may be fortunate to find locations such as temples to accept their lantern. This shows that the fate of all lanterns is in fact very different.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Pingtung County, Taiwan went to the local community to promote vegetarianism during the time of the epidemic. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you and goodbye.